Good evening and welcome to FSB Racing week six at Michigan. Here with me, as always, I have Milt Minter Jr. and Adam Roberts. We'll go and get started with our latest point standings with Adam.
Yeah, we got Tony Brewer is at the top of the points with the 68. We got Sean Bowdy with the 63 in second. Justin Bird not far behind him with 60 at third. Then Matt Watkins is at fourth with 56, and then Shane Wisman is at 51 at fifth. And then with Craig Stucca sixth, then you got Sean Reap, James Marson, TJ Reese, Dan Jones. Leave the top 10 there.
Good deal.
Yes, sir. Michigan, right across the river from Canada also. So we got multiple flags out here and multiple anthems before the race here. So hello to our neighbors from the north there.
Yeah, looks like we have fairly favorable track conditions today. Partly cloudy skies, 71 degrees Fahrenheit. And 106 degrees Fahrenheit for track temperature, so not bad. Although it is a little bit tricky coming out of, what was it, turn 4, Adam? I know you were watching the guys run around the track earlier, and you had made a comment to me about it looks a little slick coming out of one of these turns.
Yeah, turn 2 is very slick here. From what I'm watching in practice, it seems that if you get a little loose coming out of turn 2, you are not saving it today. And you're going to hit that inside wall very hard, probably end your day. So be careful. Get a little loose, get out of that throttle, and try to save it here. But
it's also worth mentioning, there are no fast repairs in this series. So if you mess your car up, that might be it. So it's all about trying to keep it clean out there for as long as you can. Sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes people get into you. Or sometimes you just forget, or the tires wear, or just something happens, fatigue maybe. There's a whole litany of issues or things that can come up while you're out there on the track. So, but yeah, these guys are all great sim racers. So I think we can expect a pretty good show tonight. Yeah,
I can't wait.
In the meantime, we could probably go ahead and pick our drivers for tonight. Milt, I'll let you go first. You can go ahead and put the curse on somebody. The broadcaster's jinx, I think, is what John referred to it
Let
as.
me see the lineup here. I can't see the lineup here, so.
Okay, yeah, give us a second. Yeah, they're still in qualifying, so probably a good idea to let you see that first for you.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I was going to pick Ken Soska, but he just texted me and said he couldn't make it tonight, so he's going to watch, though. But
speaking of Ken, I'll tell you who's out there is Ken Shea.
Oh, no kidding. Yes.
Yeah.
That's definitely a blast from the past, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen him at all this season.
No.
I should be wrapping up qualifying here shortly, so I'll get those standings up for you here pretty soon. Who's out there in the audience? Let's say we got the Justin Bird fan club again. At least 2 of them out there. 2 out of the 12, I think, that he has in total. So if you're out there, drop us a line. Tell us who you want to win.
You'll never guess who got the pole.
Oh, I can guess.
That would be Matt Watkins.
I don't know, actually. But it can be anybody here because, you got Tony, you got Justin out there, you got
absolutely.
Shane, Sean. Any of these guys are, could take the pole here. But,
Yeah.
but clearly Matt Watkins is the.
Well, if you're going to give me the first pick and Matt Watkins is in the race, I would be remiss not to pick him. So I got to go with the 15 car, Matt Watkins. That's a no-brainer, man.
All right, I think here's the qualifying results coming in hot.
So I can really piss him off, give him the broadcaster's jinx.
Yeah. Well, now it's time to make your picks. Gosh, who am I going with? I tell you what, Sean Reap is coming off of a truck win, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick Sean. Sean Reap's my pick for tonight.
Well, and that dude starts, starts to get to going. You better watch out.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm gonna pick kind of a dark horse. He's been improving. He's had a little bit of bad luck, but I'm gonna pick, and I've been watching him tonight, and he's real fast. I'm gonna pick Michael Greenwood.
Okay.
I think he's gonna do some strategy and get his first win here.
Okay, that's a good pick. Yeah, he's sitting there in 7th. Not a bad spot.
Yeah.
Well, the points leader and qualifying P2, Tony Brewer, is like, oh, no, I didn't get the jinx. And remember what happened last week? I done won, so we'll see. It's going to be good. Got some studs out there, like Paul Bryant used to say. See that? See that guy over there? That guy's a stud right there.
Yeah, field's not quite as full as it was last week. We got about 15 drivers out there tonight, but still a pretty good showing. So, any of these guys are more than capable of taking the win tonight.
Yeah, and I just texted Mr. Greenwood my pick, so.
Oh no, get him all nervous.
Yeah, I did. I'm putting the pressure on him tonight. So.
Well, I'm definitely like. I'm like, I want to see what happens to Skiji there, also known as Ken Shea. The great Slim Jim Gately nicknamed him that, Skiji, with that Norwegian last name there. And when that dude is right, it's good night. I've seen him flag to flag races, man. And, this is iRacing, so this is a different sim that I've seen him dominate in at times. And he's kind of streaky, but so we'll have to see. He'll definitely put on a show, I guarantee. And a lot of these guys, like you're starting to see Reap now, put some time in. And like you said, getting a truck win, I mean, the goose is loose, man.
Yeah, he's starting to get settled in pretty nicely. All right, looks like
once he gets the controls the way he wants them, and the vehicle does what he wants, then as far as and he gets used to, making strategy moves as a driver with the controls. He's just so calm at doing that on the fly and nailing those moves. That's the hardest. That was always the hardest part for me. That's why I like the road races. I had to pit once, 4 tires, fuel. All you got to do is not speed. Doesn't take a brainwave to figure that one out. And I was pretty good at road racing. This stuff takes a little more, re-racking. You got to re-rack them. And you got to be able to, make, a lot of these guys have, like, some of their rigs are high-tech, some are, one of the best iRacers out there is stock car driver Timmy Hill, and he drives like some kind of 24-inch screen like I used to have, and, just the same kind of steering wheel I got, the old G28 or whatever. G29, 27, I can't even remember what kind I got. I don't know, it's only going to be a few more weeks here, and me and Chet Parkin were doing some work when I was off of work last week. He dialed my computer in and put all my info in it, everything, but all I got to do is, when he gets it here, is plug it in and hook up my wheel and stuff, and download iRacing, so I'm very excited about that.
Hey, good deal. Glad you got set up finally.
Yeah, I got to clean out that room. It's kind of been, sitting there a while, so I got all my trophies are in there and stuff, and they're all covered in dust, you know. So what I want that room to look like it did back when I was obsessed with racing.
Yeah.
I've been through a lot of personal stuff, and now getting back out there and really looking forward to. I know I can still drive, and it doesn't really matter. It's just being able to drive and not make a fool of yourself and have fun. That's all that matters. And I can't wait to be racing at FSB Racing here pretty soon.
Oh yeah, they'll be glad to have you back.
Yeah.
It'll definitely give you give me a different perspective on the broadcasting thing, especially when you start running with dudes and getting lapped by them. And I have no illusions.
It's tough, man. It's tough out there. Sometimes when I don't run for a few weeks or even a few months, I have a hard time getting settled back into this sim. It's definitely a perishable skill, at least for some people. I know it is for me. A lot of these guys could take years off and still come out there and whoop my butt, so I guess it just depends. But me personally, it definitely takes me some time to get back into it.
Well, it's physical. The braking, it's not like driving. You're not sitting in a race car 180 degrees in there with a cool suit on and all that kind of stuff, and it bouncing your head off. But it's still physical, and hitting the brake and all, just all the little things too. Most of us come back and get out there and can run laps, but then it's like, okay, now you gotta run a race, dude. Okay, you got some work to do here. You got qualifying, you got pit stops, you got changes on the fly. I've done a lot of road racing with our donkey bob team, long distance races, but a lot of times you have a teammate in there and they're like, okay, well, I'll set you up,
Yeah.
So I can come into the pits and just pull in, and my tires are already set for change and everything because they have crew chief stuff. I wonder if that's available in this sim.
Yeah, there's a the driver.
Where you can go
Yeah.
team I mean, in this league. I know a lot of things are adjustable.
All right, here we go. Green flag.
Yep, green flag.
70 laps.
That's a long time, and we watched the real guys out there, and they're 4 wide already. But not doing no Carson Hosefars here yet.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of keeping the lane and getting through and trying to figure their cars out here. So that's what you need to do, get the tires up to temperature. These bad boys are running 185, 190 miles an hour at least. Yeah, oh boy. Watkins and Brewer right up on them, giving him plenty of space, but taking the air off the back there. And with cold tires, Watkins looked like he was swatting flies there coming out of turn 2. You got these old studs here, old, I say that respectfully because I'm old too. Jeff Hale, in his prom, I mean, he was a super speedway champion. A whole series, super speedways, who's the best? And he was a multiple champion. So this is right up his alley.
Yeah.
But they are spread out pretty on these starts. So
Maybe a little contact there.
Yeah. Top 4.
Yeah, they're not fooling around here.
No, they're not.
Well, bird's the word, and the bird. We got the flock uh, in the chat tonight, I believe. The bird flock.
Yeah.
And they should, man. This dude puts on a show every time. It just shows you, we've seen how good he is. So, and it shows you how good these other guys are. This is exactly what we want. We want badass racing, from badasses. And we're getting it.
Very true.
Matt Watkins is the winningest racer in the history of this league, which spans back to 2003. 2003, the FSB has been around a long time. That's through this is the third sim. It started out with NASCAR 3, then NASCAR 2003, then now iRacing.
Yeah.
Looks like I
With
can't help
some
but
testing
wonder.
and some other stuff.
I can't help but wonder what Bryce is up to. He's running in the back, kind of taking the high line, just taking his time. He's one of our newer drivers here, but he's very skilled. He actually won our 87 Legends special off-season event. Won a really cool trophy. So he knows what he's doing, but he definitely seems to be hanging back. So it's got me curious.
Does he prefer Saucier or Saucier?
You probably have to ask him that, but I just go between the two. Whatever I'm feeling at the time. I just not really sure.
It always reminds me of Apocalypse Now, the chef dude that he said, I just want to be a saucier, and then he went out in the woods and got that crap scared out of him by a tiger, I just want to cook, man. I don't know why these things pop into my head. Sean Reap, of course, don't fear the Reaper, but don't let him hear me say that, because he's like, man, I haven't heard that before, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what fits, bro. So you see some action here. The 36 car battling Matt here, and when we watch the real guys run, tires are an issue. And aero is an issue. So, right now they're taking it easy. iRacing is a very awesome sim, and side drafting and that kind of stuff means something. It actually works, like in real to a point. Now, there's also things like, connection fallout and stuff that happens that sometimes you can't explain it, and two drivers both think it wasn't their fault, and a lot of times it may have not been. What do they call that? There's a name they use for it. The connection problems. It'll come to me eventually, but net code. Yeah.
Net code. Yeah. Good old net code.
And that does happen, but when you imagine these five dudes going at it right here, neck to neck, puking it out from all over wherever they're at the speed of light, that stuff's traveling into their computer, and from where they're sitting, they feel like they're racing right next to these dudes, and that ain't no joke. Those views you're seeing right there, but you're getting these camera views down, bro.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites right there, the in car where I can pan it around.
Heck yeah,
having a good time with that.
Yeah,
that's we're just getting started here, baby. iRacing's got so much groovy stuff,
Yeah, I think with these Xfinity cars, you can run them a little bit harder. You don't have to put as much brake into the corner as you do with the Cup car. So I think they're getting a little more draft, and can run it a little harder. They're not as fast as the Cup car. They're not hitting 205, 206, on the straightaway, but you can just when you're trying to roll through the center there, you can drive it, I think, a little harder, not put as much brake.
Look at these guys using those outside lines too, and
Yeah.
then getting that run off.
Yeah.
Other sims could not compare with that physics. It's really, you get to see alternate strategies and aero factor here and draft. These guys are duking it out.
Yeah, they're really. I didn't expect to see this much action in the first 12 laps.
Looks like we've kind of separated the two packs here between Bryce and Michael Greenwood. There's a little bit of a gap there, followed by Craig Stuka, Jack Walls, T.G. Reese, and Pops Marguson and Jeff Hill.
So, Michigan and California were supposed to, were sister tracks. And back in the day, they were supposed to be, as close to identical as possible. But I always felt like I ran better at California than I did at Michigan. For some reason, I got tight coming out of those corners in the old sim. And it really looks like these, fixed setups, which everybody has to run the same thing, are, very good. And of course, everybody's got the same car to start with, That's pretty groovy,
Yeah, it's amazing how everybody's running the same car, the same setup, but the way they choose to run it and the strategy they use is just vastly different. There's this common misconception that because the car is the same and the setup's the same, that everybody should run the same, but that's certainly not the case, at least in this league.
Well, and then, watching the real guys, they started talking about the guy up front. He has better air, but he's using more fuel. So you got to think about, what these guys are doing here. As some of the guys that were pushing there, like Bird, he was pushing a little bit. Now he's kind of fall back a little bit.
Yeah.
Something happened to him, I think, because...
Yeah, I don't know. He's falling back pretty hard.
Yeah, he went way back here. Let's take a look at that.
I'm looking to see what happened.
Yeah, we're looking back. We got the FSB rewind going here.
Goes. Yeah, I don't know. He just kind of goes. Yeah,
he slowed down on the apron, like some kind of control or internet issue, maybe.
Yeah, maybe he had something. Yeah, with his control. Yeah, with his steering wheel or something. He had to readjust. Yeah, something.
And went down on the apron and got back up there and took off. So that's
maybe his wheel came off his desk. He had to.
I've had
to me before.
I've broken the wheel. I broke the wheel off before.
Yeah,
I've done that.
There's no worse moment in iRacing when you're giving it all you got and your wheel pops off your desk and you're just sitting there holding the wheel while trying to latch it back on and keep control of the car, but there's no resistance, right? Like you're trying to turn the wheel, but there's nothing for it to turn into, so it's just it's just you're just holding a piece of plastic.
I started out with them little sidewinders, man, and I got I need to get rid of those because I still got them in a junk room of dead carcasses, and they're absolutely worthless now. But you're not supposed to throw away electronic products in the regular track, so I got to figure that out one of these days. Because I got plus I'm going to have a dead computer I got to get rid of here pretty quick. Here comes Brewer.
So it looks like Justin Bird did have some connection issues according to the chat right now. Kayla let us know that he said everything disappeared, but he's back up and running now. So that sounds like a connection issue.
Yeah, and that could be, you just straight in the wall and you don't even know where you're at. So that was fortunate. hopefully that doesn't happen again. Long way to go here. Want to, obviously want to stay on the lead lap. With a smaller field, cautions, are less likely, but you never know.
Yeah.
So, what the real guys were encountering was, the left rear blowing on them because of the tire pressure and pushing them far enough. That would be really, difficult to do in this sim here, but hitting the wall would be, and Matt Watkins got close there.
Got a little kiss the wall a little bit. Saw some sparks fly up.
Yeah. That's just how this track does with that high speed. It just it lulls you into just thinking. I saw it in the truck race. You just, almost like you're following somebody into the pit of hell, and you don't want to go there, but all of a sudden you're just following them right in, and I'm about to hit the wall now.
Yeah.
Yeet, doink. Because as you're driving, you're lifting there. You guys were talking brakes. Kind of went through that evolution of, in the other sim, of using brakes, and then after a while, the cars weren't as fast, and where it was pretty much just lift and then stab, back on the gas.
Yeah.
Very little brake, and maybe just a tiny trail brake. That's probably all they're doing if they are using brakes as they're getting close to their fuel window. 20 coming up here.
Yeah, we probably have 3, maybe 4 laps.
You might see some of these guys in the back trying to, and that's, 24, 48. So, that's 2 stops there. And you can, split that in separate ways. So, you can go 24, 48, maybe, 23 or 22 to get to your 70. How far do you want to push? You want to stay with these lead guys? Matt Watkins is going to want to pull one of his Matt Watkins pit stops off, but does he want to do it while Tony Brewer is pitting too? And these guys are starting to think about this here now. On Bounty, just another man. Welcome to this dude. He ain't fooling. This is, one of the more challenging pit road entrances. It's high speed. Pit road is huge, so you got plenty of room. You should be able to get in and out of your stall, even if there's a car right in front. Like the biggest pit stalls, I think, in stock car racing.
Yeah, but getting on the pit road is a whole nother story here.
Yeah.
Looks like Michael Greenwood's already hit pit lane.
Hit it a little early, huh? Or did he just hit it?
Sean Reap, I believe, just went in. Sean Reap and Jack Walls are both hitting the pits right now.
Yeah, they're in the window, so they're if this goes green, they're fine with that, and they trying to pull the undercut here on these leaders. Maybe they'll, obviously, as long as they don't go a lap down, they don't mind seeing the caution. This track is so big, you might be able to get in and out without going a lap down. And that's a key to, having the, huevos to make that move early.
Yeah, here comes
because,
all the leaders.
If the caution goes out, then
Tony stayed out.
Of course, so Tony
did
stayed
stay
out.
Wow.
Oh, it's not like Daytona where he's that draft dependent, but then again, he's avoiding what we just saw here. These guys come down pit road now. This stuff's getting busy.
I think Jeff Hale may have stayed out with him.
Here comes Tony.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to see where he comes out in relation to Matt and Sean. Shane slid through his pit box when he came in. Yeah, that's going to cost him.
Matt and Sean are like tooth and nail coming out together.
Yeah.
It's like Justin Bird's going to link
that was
up.
well executed by those two.
Justin Bird's going to link up with them here perfectly. Him and Sean and Michael Greenwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the advantage of the undercut. That's the advantage of the undercut there. So there's obviously lap time difference, you know, and tire degradation. Or they just pitted better by themselves. I don't know. This is good. You know, we have really seen, even with a smaller field, a lot of good strategy. These guys are studs, you know. I think, you know, I'm seeing Ken Shea in the back there. I think, you know, he's probably still got some work to do just getting up to speed with this sim and maybe it's equipment. You know, I haven't talked to him, but it's always a pleasure to talk to him. He's a fierce competitor. So, but just to see him out here and getting his feet wet, you know, I mean, there's going to be a day if he keeps showing up, you better watch out.
Like Sean Bounty's taking the lead.
Yeah.
Matt and Tony have battled it out for the last couple races, so I'm sure Matt's put in the wheel time to figure out this track and figure out the best strategy and the best way to beat Tony, because Tony hasn't beat him by that much the last couple of races, so I'm sure he's definitely
Matt runs a lot of places, and he'll dedicate to a series or a season, or he'll just show up when he feels like it. And a lot of time it's, you know, he needs to be interested and have that competition. So, you know, he's obviously loving racing against these dudes, you know. And they probably run in other leagues together too, you know. They run in a lot of other pro leagues, you know, some are broadcasts and stuff too. I don't know specifically, but so to see these guys, these are elite drivers here.
For those of you out there in the audience, be sure to give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, please.
The likes help, the subscribes help. Just helps push these live videos out there to everyone else, and hopefully attract more viewers and maybe more drivers. So,
plus you might get a little ding on your phone, you know, and you might say, "Well, I can't watch it tonight." Like Ken Soska watched the last week's broadcast like a few days ago, and I was like, you know, I don't know what I was doing, shopping or something Sunday, and he was like, "Hey, dude, I watched that broadcast. Fantastic." You know, I mean. So, I mean, it's out there, you know. You don't have to watch it right away. You can watch it at your convenience. Good stuff.
I think he even left a comment on the video itself. So we always appreciate seeing comments, seeing likes, and all that stuff.
Well, and we're also looking to attract drivers that, you know, like are, you know, just getting into, you know, sim racing too, into iRacing, understanding the depth of the whole deal, you know, how far it goes from, you know, us, you know, humans all the way up, you know, and some aliens in here, up to the fact that the guys you watch on Sunday or that you watch running the 24 hours of Le Mans, you know, I'm good friends with Gunnar Jeanette, and they'll be running this week at Rexy, the dinosaur Porsche. My dad used to drive for his dad, and they'll be running the 24 hours of Le Mans. And, you know, I've run into him back in the day on iRacing. He's out there messing around because, you know, he was a driver too, you know. Now he's a team manager for a multi-million-dollar racing team, AO Racing, which I'm going to give them a shout. Check them out, Rexy, Roxy, and Spike. They're 3 cars. They're all designed by the owner's kids. Came up with the ideas. Pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, this is the week for me, man. I want to get through this, but the 24 hours a month, man. I'll have 4 or 5 TVs going with that on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite races to watch also. So.
Well, my dad ran there 3 times. The first time in 1973, they were in class. They were in the lead for a lot of that race up till about the 18th hour, and blew a motor in a Ferrari 365 GTB. And he went back another couple times with really good cars. It just to win that race, it's nothing like it is now as far as how the money and for drivers, for him to get a chance to even go there. I mean, he basically went for hardly nothing.
Yeah.
Give me a plane ticket. Do I speak French? No, but I'll find something to eat, right?
Yeah.
Tony Brewer looking to make a move on Sean Bounty here.
Right there.
So what are we seeing here? We're not seeing like a guy just pull away and dominate. So I'm seeing tire wear and air is a factor here. So it would be nice to see like maybe some lap times. Like it's hard, like what they start out with, qualifying wise versus what they end up running. They got to be running by the end of a 24 lap run. They got to be running almost a couple seconds slower, probably. You see it in the real cars. When you qualify in these cars, you could probably almost go flat out all the way around. Then you get the aero and you're racing, and then you get tire wear, you got to lift, So you're losing, tons of time, What you don't want to do is not be able to, plan it coming out of the corners.
Looks like they're hovering right around 40 right now. Got the times pulled up between Sean Bounty and Matt Watkins, and Matt's gaining on Sean a little bit, so look for him to make his way up there with the other 2 here shortly.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah, and those are, with Bounty and Brewer, that was like, almost a half second there, 0.4, that's quite a bit, with Bounty and Watkins, 32, 33, 34, those were, kind of an evolution of up to, just 1/10 and then back down to hundreds. So, you can, in your mind, you can see that that's pretty much how it is. I think some of these other cars could probably compete in a short run, but Brewer way up there in the Richard Petty line. Nice. The King would be proud. That's, Kyle Larson territory up there.
Yeah, he's done that a couple times tonight. He seems to do that, I guess. I imagine it's just a momentum thing. See if he can get a little more momentum up there at the top.
Well, what it shows me is, for all the, trophies and numbers and stuff I got back in the day, man, these guys whip my butt. You know? These guys this is evolution. You know, this stuff is just so much more real. You know,
Yeah.
it's not hugging that bottom line and just going as fast as you can and not worry about it. Man, there's a lot of tragedy in this. Here comes Bird. The bird's the word. The bird's the word.
Yeah, I've been kind of watching the Justin and Bryce and Shane, and they kind of been this kind of little second pack of the three. They've been kind of back here, kind of duking it out. They're not too far. They're only what two seconds behind.
They're not far. No,
there.
Bryce and Justin have been going at it pretty hard.
Yeah.
Saw Justin get loose a couple times.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Bryce getting a little sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're still just a little bit past halfway, so, and you got one more, you know, looking like green flag stop here, so, and now you got options of, you know, we're 29 laps away now, so a window is going to open in just like 6 laps, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of these guys went way longer, so, you know, they're not going to, you know, want to give up track position. I mean, you know, the race smells green, looks green, grass is green, so probably going to be green, but you don't know.
Right. Yeah. I know. Let's see. Yeah, Michael Greenwood pitted way early. He pitted at lap 20.
Yeah, I've been watching for him.
Yeah, to see if he's going to pit early. I imagine as soon as the window opens, he'll be in.
Well, they're saying 24 on fuel, so that's you know,
yeah, he's got at least another 2 or 3. He's got at least 3.
So that's like lap 56. They, you know, is the earliest he can go and make it. Dang, my brain figured that out. Gee, really? Wow. Not much left up there. 62 next week. Yes. What they say in the movie Ford versus Ferrari? That's on the right side of Cook.
I think Greenwood's coming in.
Yeah, he's hitting the apron there. That's what it looks like. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you know, what it shows you is how hard this is. And these guys are making it look easy. And I bet you if I was out there, I'd be like shocked, wondering, you know, why are my tires friggin' done and I can barely drive this car? And that just shows you, you know, how badass these guys are. We got more guys pitting here.
Oh. Yeah, Greenwood missed his pit box.
Oh, no.
It slid through it.
Yeah, you want all that, you know, it's so hard. You're out there driving for so long, then you got to come in and nail it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. I know I lost 2 FSB races. I could have won the FSB Indy 500 by doing just that, screwing up on pit road, just like you've seen the real guys do.
Yeah, it looks like we got, yeah, here comes Justin. Shane. Oh, Shane. Ooh, he came in hot.
Picking up
Oh,
some smoke
Ken
there.
Soska just texted me. He said, "No, bro, that's lap 46, not 56." So,
Yeah.
well, we call him on Team Donkey Bob. We call him Smart Brother, for a reason. So, thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. Man, I'm a driver, not a thinker. So very interesting here. A lot of different stuff going on here. While Brewer, Bounty, and Watkins yet to come here. Yeah, this is well, you see, the majority are pitting here. These guys went farther on that first run. They could go farther. How much time are they losing? They've already got quite a gap here. So you play but they don't want to go too far and let Reap and Stuka and those guys. TG Reese up there. I don't know if maybe he hasn't. And hell, they haven't stopped yet either.
No, they were a lap down. They had gone a lap down. Looks like here goes Justin going around. And it looks like they're pitting. Yeah, the leaders are pitting now. So right as Justin. Oh,
ooh,
man.
Sean came in hot.
Yeah.
Wow. Actually, I was in his cockpit when that happened, so got the whole thing. Yikes.
God.
That was a close one. That was a good camera angle.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
Did he get it down low enough? That could be a penalty right there. Or was the 12? We don't know how fast the 12
we got
was
a
going.
caution.
Oh, yeah.
We got a
Jeff
caution.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, no.
And they're still side by side. And was there contact coming out of pit road?
Oh, boy.
I can't see.
This is going to shake
and we
things
got a
up
car
a bit.
around. And we got a caution with Jeff Hale.
Yep.
Mama.
I don't know if they told. It looked like Watkins passed the pace car. Or no, Justin passed the pace car.
Oh, boy, man. These are always those situations where you wonder how iRacing NASCAR is going to handle
Dang.
because,
Well, they'll at least get a wave around, I think.
Their decisions are final, and a lot of times it's a question of whether these guys are hearing, the spotter gets to them and tells them the right info before it's too late.
I'm not sure about that caution. It was it looked like Jeff was trying to hit the pits and realized he was coming a little bit too hot and got on the brakes, and it really wasn't a crash. He just kind of skid to a stop. So
yeah,
kind of questioning
like,
iRacing on that one. That's kind of a weird place to throw a caution, but
yeah,
I
don't know.
They call
it's
the
the
flag
sim.
man Dale Jr.'s buddy up there, Ernie or whatever the hell his name is. Come on, Ernie. Yeah.
Barney, is that what they call him? Was it Barney?
Barney, yeah, Barney. That's it.
yeah.
Come on, Barney, what's up? Sorry, Barney said I spilt my beer. While I was trying to. When I bent down, the flag came out accidentally. I just love that. Of course, who doesn't love Dale Jr. And I hate having to watch on Prime and because then you got to buy that too or whatever. I got some friends, but cool to see him bring the drivers up there and give them a beer. It's like,
Yeah.
You're done driving. Here's a beer. I've never seen anybody drink beer on TV. I thought you're not supposed to do that, but if it's in a cup, nobody can prove it, right? I just think that's because that's the reality of it. That's the first thing my dad was looking for after a race. Give me a beer, you know. Maybe some Gatorade and then a beer. All right. Depends how hot it was.
So
Well, what are we gonna do now?
I don't know. This is all
Check,
the
check, check, check,
scoring.
check.
I'm trying to get the scoring, and it's just it's showing Justin in first,
Yeah, that's not
but
right.
he's ahead of the pace car. We're getting ready to go green.
Yeah. I think he found himself in a very precarious position whenever that caution came out, so it might have jacked him up a little bit.
Well, why is it calling Watkins second, and Watkins is not right behind the? No, he is right behind the pace car. So Justin is not even in the picture there. So these guys are on the tail end of the lead lap then? I guess
Not sure.
that would be it. If he's behind them and he's the leader, they got to be on the tail end of the lead lap.
Yeah, I think they're getting a wave around.
Yeah, Matt just got a
Unless
wave
they get
around.
the wave around. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Justin Burr was stopped there on the side of the track, so I'm not sure what he's got going on, but probably doing whatever his spotter's telling him to do.
Okay, yeah, so, you know, it'll get figured out there. And we'll still have plenty of laps because this changes everything, obviously. Everybody's going to have enough gas and fuel and tires and put it to the floor and let it roar. That's what we want to see.
Everyone got a wave around there. That's interesting.
Yeah.
These are always those things that, yellows as people are pitting always confuses a simulation, no matter how smart that simulation is. And it confuses real people, but it's much more direct.
Yeah, I'm confused right now, but
I am
I guess they're, like I said, probably just doing whatever their spotter's telling them to do.
So now Bird gets waved by the pace car too.
Yeah. So that was an absolute terrible spot. So I guess Matt's going to roll into the start here on the next go around. He should be behind the pace car now. Yep, there it is.
There we go.
I think we're getting lined up now, hopefully. This caution was more than likely extended because of the shuffling they had to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You know, you don't want it to end up screwing people over where they shouldn't be.
No.
Well, either way, because now, TG Reese up there, he's trying to figure out. It's a little behind. I guess it's got figured out. So TG ended up figuring out, I got to go too,
Yeah, he should be.
Some TV time for the Hellman's Chevrolet there with TG Reese, another old veteran I've known since, around 2003 in multiple leagues. A couple of co-founders with FSB, and we all kind of bounced around. A lot of old names back in the day. You wonder how dudes are still doing. Mark DeCenza is another one that was from that league where we met TG, and he came over and start running with us. I've been here ever since. Mark DeCenza was a stud, always driving the number 3.
Your pace car should be off now. So let's see what happens. It's like a single file restart.
No
I guess
black flag.
Justin got a black flag somehow. I'm not sure what happened.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Justin went to the pit.
My gosh. Well, he needs to, do his drive-through, get on out there, because he's got a championship to win here still. So, sometimes it don't go your way. You got to try to get your best finish. These guys may end up piling up, but right now they're pretty spread out. TG Reese, out in front, so he's a lap down car in front of the leader.
Yeah.
How did that get like that? Man,
Yeah,
you know, NASCAR, I don't know. 13 on pit road. Dude, you need to be just pissed off, you know? I don't know.
yeah.
I've been
we'll have
there,
to-
bro.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Somehow, you know. Here comes some action here. They're fighting.
Oh,
There's TG going around.
yeah.
TG was kind of out of his, you know, I don't know if he got tires or,
That's gonna be a
you
caution
know, he
too.
was definitely pushing there, and that brings a caution out. And that brings Bird back out. Does he lose a lap? He should get the lucky dog unless TG Reese is the car lap down. But if you bring out the caution, that shouldn't be your lucky dog.
No, I think it's gonna be Pops actually. I think Pops would be a
Oh,
lap
okay.
down. So I think, not sure.
And this stuff's crazy, folks.
Man, this one thing I've noticed, this track is very, very sensitive to cautions. Both the
Yeah,
ones
it
we
is.
just saw probably wouldn't have been cautions anywhere else, or most other tracks. But for this one, they're real
Yeah,
quick on the
don't you have
trigger
to
there.
like, you know, like you have to run into something and parts have to fly off? I mean, getting sideways and going up, you know, and you know, doing
Well,
duty in the cockpit doesn't make you give you a caution. You know?
it's funny because on some tracks that's not enough. Some tracks
Oh,
you can
we
hit the
got
wall and everything
Exactly.
else, but
we got
Yeah,
everyone
you got
pitting
to
here.
fly over it into the trees. You know, yeah,
Oh no,
it's
we
a
got
work in
some guys not
progress.
pitting.
You know,
oh,
This is
interesting.
interesting.
Who stayed out? Looks like Matt, Michael, and
Michael.
Jack. Jack Walls
Yeah.
stayed out.
oh, and these
Okay.
other cars come down pit road. Wow.
Yeah, I guess they're gonna get
Interesting.
tires. I mean, they should be good on gas. So
Yeah, they're definitely good on gas, but those new
They'll
shoes
still
will
have like
certainly
10
help.
laps to go, and they must be, you know, tires are an issue here. So,
Sean
otherwise,
Bounty's the
you
first
don't
one
do
out.
that. Plus, well, you know, the thing is, you know, those guys didn't know if the rest of them were going to follow. 83 Walls, he's like, heck yeah, I'm staying out. You know, it's the first time, you know, Mel Jr. said my name tonight. The 83 car. Let's get a picture of that dude.
yeah, Jack Walls.
When the walls come tumbling down.
Something. What is that?
Tumbling,
Delaware.
tumbling.
If you keep singing, Milt, you're going to get us copyrighted.
That's true.
Dude, man, I can't sing, and you know, really, you
They're
know,
going to cut the audio to the whole feed.
are those freaking people that lame? You know, really?
It's a
How
real
many
thing.
millions of dollars do you need? You know,
Yeah.
wow, man. You know, okay. Well, you know, I'm still learning here. You know, in the booth.
Well, in the meantime, for
So
those of you watching,
if I say Mr. Stuka there, you know, his last name is named after a German fighter plane. Would that, you know, would they sue me? You know, Messerschmitt, you know, for
you
using
can't
that
be
name or what?
you can't be too careful these days. But in the meantime, for those of you watching, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. We
Well, we
greatly
just
appreciate
like to,
it.
you know, like play word games. You know, I mean, TG Reese. You know, I mean, you know, come on. There's a couple things. Reese, you know, like from the Terminator. You know, come on, Reese. You know, and then there's Reese's Pieces. You know, oh my man, you're fired. You know, that's it.
Right.
You can't say that.
See what kind of jump these leaders get here with 12 to go. Well, actually, it's going to be 11 to go at the line. So, I want to ride along here with Sean Bounty on the roof cam. See what we got.
I think that's a pretty good idea, bruh.
Yeah.
This stuff. Now that single file restart stuff, that had me like, isn't he supposed to be starting 2 wide? Isn't there
Yeah.
a choice thing here? What the heck's going on here?
Yep, here we go. Green flag. Oh, I think Greenwood spun his tires.
Yeah, I believe he did.
Bit. Yeah.
A little bit of a rough
Tony,
start there. Matt
Well, that was
jumped
your
out
pick,
ahead.
and there he
Yeah.
was at the end there, still battling. It's go for it time,
Yep. That was a good
I'm
jump
on
for
TV.
Tony. Tony's got brand new tires and right under Matt there.
Yeah.
Everything we've seen from the 12, and that's why he's leading this series, the championship. Why he, beat one of the best I've ever seen last week, and why he's all up inside her here now, because of that smart move.
Yeah.
Man, look at that. That's some cool stuff there.
Matt's not done yet. He's still giving Tony a run for his money.
Yep, trying.
Not that many laps here on Matt's tires, so it's not like he's got 20 laps on them tires, and they're, he's got, they have to recycle, and now here he comes. It still ends up D3. The studs 12, 15, and 36.
Sean
In
feels
case
will
you're
make the
wondering,
pass on
folks,
that.
the rest of these drivers are studs too. It's just, man, these guys are just dominating this race tonight. They get out there instantly, so we're seeing some guys try some stuff here. Back in like fifth, they're Saucier trying to, try that outside line, Whoa, car way down on the apron. Fortunately, that's not grass anymore. That's all, asphalt. Couple different lines here guys are trying to do. Seems like some of the cars in back just
third caution.
They just really, and we got a caution now.
That goes Jeff
Yeah,
Hale.
it was Jeff Hale.
Dang.
I heard it.
See if we can go back and see what happened.
Yeah, it was. It hurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
See what we got here.
Oh,
we got
a tire there.
clipped.
That thing just went around, dude.
Dang.
Yeah,
Might
you
have
got
blown a
clipped.
tire there.
I think.
Oh no, he got.
Yeah, he got hit.
Yeah, it looks like.
I think that was Michael Greenwood, huh?
Yeah,
he had damage.
Greenwood got his car was like out of control. Maybe he had damage already, and he was pushing. And it's just unfortunate, That's racing, folks. How many times did I see it as a kid?
Yeah.
For real. He beat up.
Yeah, he had damage. Yeah, he got.
He got nailed in the back by somebody there first.
Yeah, Shane.
Wisman, I think Wisman came off the wall too, and they were all just kind of going for it, I mean.
He was trying to. Yeah, they were just.
Yeah, he was just trying to get by there.
Matt Watkins has gone into the pits. Interesting.
Oh, I guess he's gonna get tires, huh?
Interesting. Yeah, with only it's going to be what 3 to go, I think. Whenever the green flag drops again.
He doesn't feel like he can win this race. I don't think he's thinking about championship. I don't think he's thinking about winning the race. And I don't think he feels like he can win the race with those tires after those.
Yeah.
So he wants freshies. Was those just left side tires?
You know, I'm
Or
not
did he
sure.
get 4? I think he got just left side tires. You wouldn't do that, so I must have caught that late. There's no way I would think he would do just lefts with because he's going to go back behind all the lead lap cars anyway, so it would make no sense. And he doesn't do things that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
So now he's got freshies and he needs to go a long way here in a short distance. Saucier, Reap, their strategy and patience has worked out pretty good here. Sean Reap is, man, I mean, he's a historian of racing, stock car racing. He's a champion, and it's just so cool to see him. You got to understand, this dude, raced like in a certain way in other sims, and then had to transform to, the cockpit view, which, um, for him was, I've seen it before. I had friends that had like, you know, sometimes, like me, like I used to be able to work on tall buildings and be able to climb scaffolding, and now I can't. I'm afraid of heights because I got old or I got vertigo. I don't know, but he has fought through that and learned how to figure out how to drive this car, what he's got, and fight through it. Basically, starting from scratch. A guy is a multiple champion, a broadcaster. I mean, a dominant driver. To just say, okay, I'm going to start from scratch and start in the back, and I'm okay with that because I don't have nothing to prove. And
Well, let's
here he
see.
is. He's
See what
starting to
happens
prove some
here.
stuff here.
Yeah, pace
Here we
car's
go.
off. So
Here we go.
let's
Here we go.
see what he's got.
Green flag. I'm not sure what happened to
I saw.
Stucca. He pulled off.
I saw him duck off there. I'm not sure what happened either.
Yeah.
But we'll have to figure that out later. But right now we got 4 to go.
Yep.
Yeah, but that single start there, that still trips me out there. I'm not sure what the heck that's all about. But NASCAR waved the flag, and that's the way it goes. And here we go. And once again, Tony Brewer is just the star of the season and of the show again tonight. And none of us brainiacs picked him. Get on board with this dude because he's the real deal, ladies and gents.
Oof.
Oh.
I saw that coming.
Yeah.
Dang.
That was
About 2 seconds before it happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can watch the replay on that, even though we saw it live. But oof, man, what a hard hit that was.
Oh, and yes, I just seen that right now. Watkins into the side of Sean Reap. No bueno there. Yeah, I
mean,
don't know,
we're gonna
man.
get a green white checker. I think they only do one green white checker, correct? Or is it unlimited?
I believe it's just one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to watch the replay from the broadcast here and take a look and see what happens. So. Yeah, that view right there, I'm delayed watching on the broadcast feed. I'm also watching the other feed I have. Through Andrew. So, okay. Trying to. Well, you know, first of all, we're just announcers, so we say what we think we thought we saw. You know, actually, that will be, you know, thought about. You know, every incident is checked out by the league. So.
That almost.
I'm watching it over and over again, and it hurts every time I watch it. I think Sean Reap is coming down in front of the 15, and
Yeah, but
when I
it
first,
almost looked
but
odd.
at the same, you know, same. The thing is you when you're coming through there, you have to hold your line, and at the same time, the 15 did not have a door panel on the 62. So usually when you say, you know, you're going to, you know, you have that corner, that means you got to be up there, you know, on a door panel. And I know that's not what Matt wanted to do there, but yeah, that's hard to say.
Yeah, it could,
That's
but it
just
could
a
be.
bummer racing incident that
Yeah,
probably could have been avoided. But the thing is, when you're going 200 miles an hour right there, okay, we're watching it again in slow motion. It just seems like the 62 is already kind of sideways
yeah,
in
that could
front
be
of
net
him
code.
and
That
coming
could have net
down
code.
in front of
Yeah,
him. I just don't see where the 15 is supposed to go. He can't just change lanes right there.
yeah,
You know, but at the same time, the 62 is looking out his windshield, trying to point because he's looking right straight forward, trying to see where his exit point out of that corner is going to be, and he knows that car is beside him, and the spotter probably hasn't even said inside yet. He knows that momentum's coming there. That's just, you know, bad for both of them there. So.
Well, looks like Matt
yeah,
Watkins made his way back up to the front here. He's right here behind Tony Brewer. So definitely going to be an interesting final few laps.
yeah,
Yeah, that just really sucks for Reek because of how he put himself in a good position there, and you know, he wasn't trying to block. I don't think. I don't know if he started getting loose right there, or it just seemed like the angle of his car. If you were looking, when I was looking at that roof cam pointing forward, it's just hard to say there.
Yeah, it's a tough
Yeah.
one, but looks like we're
When
about
it's like that,
to.
you go racing incident, but that's an incident that counts
Yep.
on
yeah,
both drivers. This is a 2 incident
Looks like we're
league.
about to go green here. So
Yep, here we
2 laps
go.
to go at the line.
Yep.
Like, you know, we have not been disappointed with excitement, and you know, for everybody else's problems, you know, then you got the venerable one, Pops Markson, looking at trying to get a top 10 here. How about Pops up there?
Yeah.
You know, battling. You know, he knows. You know, he's a good qualifier. You know, to win a race is hard. He's out there battling every week, and here he is out there. You know, in the picture on Monday night. You know, with his, you know, son Toby and grandkids probably checking out the broadcast. You know, and there's Grandpa out there still getting it done. You know.
Yeah. Here they come.
And, you
So I
know,
don't-
so
I
is
don't know
Tony
that-
Brewer.
I don't know that Matt's made a lot of ground here on Tony. Tony seems to be holding his own up there in the front. Sean Boundy's was pretty close to Matt, but he's fallen off just a touch.
Well, you know, if
as
I'm
we go
Matt
into the
Watkins,
final
I
lap
don't
here.
want to make contact to win this race because
No.
you already got one right now. And that's in this league, it's a 2 incident rule league where they really take a look at,
Final few
you know,
turns here.
you can't just keep hitting people. So let's see what happens.
Look at Boundy trying to go low here, but I don't think he'll have the momentum. Ooh, Matt got a little loose. So he may actually... Oh, it got a little loose again. I think he's going to take him that P2 spot. Yep, sure enough.
Finally got it.
Oh, good move by
P2.
Boundy. Tony Brewer, 3 in a row. Hat trick.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Like that, baby. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can see that snap loose there, Matt, up against the wall. And he did scrape a little bit there. And Stuka coming in P4. This guy, Craig Stuka, just continues to every week. He's one of those guys you just find, like, you never say his name, and then at the end, and he's right up there at the top. He just knows how to finish races at the speed he's capable of, because he's a dang good racer, you know.
Is Tony Brewer about to make his victory lap? Maybe his victory burnout. Let's see.
Let's see what he does.
All right, we'll cut it loose. Way back. Awesome.
Get some.
I think you might have killed it.
The,
no, we still got it. It's still
manufacturers
running.
are going to love that. Chevrolet wins. Look at that. Well, you know, I'm watching delayed a little bit there. That great camera work there by
Oh, we just missed
Nick
the wall.
there. Great job, bro, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Man, it's a show, bro. Get some.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, stuff happens. Hard racing is going to have, you know, complications. And so, you know, everybody raced real clean and did the best they could.
Yeah, that's all
no
you can
malice
do.
out there. So, good, hard race. Some racing incidents that, you know, in my broadcaster opinion, they just happen, and that's the way it goes.
You're right. That's just the way it goes sometimes. But
Well, you know, my dad was all set up for Watkins Glen Can-Am 1974, and he got wrecked on the pace lap. Alfa Romeo car was wonderful, you know. It wasn't going to win the race, but it was a top 5 car, and it was running great. We made the green flag on the pace lap, turn 1. Guys just warming his tires up and ran right in it, and game over. You know? Except it wasn't a game; it was real. You know, it's a long way to Watkins Glen, New York, up there, but it's beautiful up there. So, what do we got for next week, guys?
well, right now we need to round up our top 3. I'm not sure where we're at next week. I'll have to look at the schedule, but figure that out here
It
shortly.
is. That's the truck schedule, not.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Better get on the Xfinity here.
Yeah. It is Richmond.
Oh, that'll be a good one.
Yeah.
All right, looks like we
Ben
got
Saska,
2.
NASCARaholic, our sponsor, also does flight simulator stuff. If you're into that, he's doing videos there, and I expect NASCARaholic videos coming out here pretty quick too. So check his site, definitely.
Yep. Be sure to give him a like and subscribe as well. Looks like we got 2 of our top 3 in here. Matt Watkins is still up in the regular race channel, so we'll give him a minute before we get started. But yeah, we got a couple of the Tony Brewer fans checking in here at the chat. Richard.
Well, you know, the Brew Crew needs to, you know, step up, because this guy is just whooping some tail here.
Yeah, no doubt.
I feel like you say the Brew Crew. We need the pop open a cold one every time we say the Brew Crew.
Well, you know, I got, you know.
So make the sound.
I got
we need
beer right here.
we need a sound bite. We need a sound
you
bite of
hear
the can
it?
opening.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Yeah. There you go.
All right, there's
There you
a
go.
sound bite.
Yeah.
Record, cuts. We're good.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we got everybody here. Third place finisher, Matt Watkins. Matt, you had a lot to contend with tonight between a very untimely caution, or maybe two untimely cautions, and also just a different pit strategy, it looked like. So, so overall, how do you think your night went? Did it go how you wanted it to go? I mean, obviously you didn't win, but all things considered, you at least got to be happy with a third place finish.
Yeah, just goes how Michigan always goes for me. In good shape to win, and then something silly happens. So, that's the way it goes. So, it was a good race, though.
Yeah, and it's a tough track, too. It looked a little slick out there. Maybe coming out of turn 2, I think.
Yeah, I drove really hard the first run, try to see how far I could push it, and then I had literally no right rear the last 5 laps of that run, and then tried to save a little more on the second run, and then I think it would have been good last run, but then I got the caution, and then kind of chaos happened.
Definitely looked like chaos out there. We saw cars passing the pace car multiple times. We saw people going into the pits. We saw people parked on the side of the track. Like, we were up here scratching our heads trying to figure out what was actually going on. But I assume you guys got it sorted out eventually.
Yeah, I think unfortunately Justin got a black flag. It was unfortunate with the pace car thing, but yeah, it's the first time in iRace I've ever done a single file restart because the game was so confused. So that was pretty interesting to say the least.
It was.
But I also want to say sorry to Sean. I hate that happened. Like, I think I just took a laser entrance and he arced it kind of hard and we met. But yeah, man, I hated that because he was running really well.
Yeah, he was. It's just one of those racing things that happens. But yeah, tough break for him, for sure.
Yeah, we watched that like over and over. And that's, the way it was, man. It's just one of those things where, like, you committed your line and, he thought he had some room there and it sucked, That whole thing was kind of, it was just weird, I mean, usually with iRacing, back in the day with other sims, we seen, like confusion when guys were pitting and the caution came out, but yeah, that was very strange. Yeah, had to upset your rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game's usually pretty good at sorting things out, but just a perfect storm there, how everything shook out, and then so it did the best it could to sort it out.
Yeah, right on.
Well, all things considered.
Well, good finish,
yeah.
Man. Thanks for showing up, man.
Yeah.
Always exciting.
Appreciate you guys doing this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you guys put on a great race, man.
Appreciate you being out here. All right, Sean Bounty, you're up next. Again, like, I'm sure you have something to say about those cautions that came out. You were putting up a good fight there, so just run us through it, man.
Yeah, basically, from what Matt said, it's the first run we were going hard. I had a ball running that first run. It was hard, and there was practically nothing left on my right rear tires, but coming out of turn 2, from center of turn 2 off, I felt like it was my strong suit, but I'd get like halfway through a run to get that working right, and then I had nothing on turn 3 to 4, so whatever I could gain, I could never pass Matt in that first run because I could get by him whenever I really wanted to, but I'd never be set up for turn 3 because I just couldn't figure out that corner for most of the race. But second run, backed it down and tried to get a lap back from when I pitted before to stay on the same tire set that Tony was on because he was a good lap ahead of us on the tires. And third run, I kind of felt like I figured out the race that I wanted to set and see if I could get Tony back down mid-race through that turn 2 and kind of just stay with him and just see what I had for a newly theorized long run. And it just, all those cautions came out. I don't know what was going on back there, but we could never really quite finish it.
Yeah, it was
Well,
tough.
it definitely made it exciting for us. Watching the real guys, and they were talking about left rear. So, obviously, and that was more like the Cup cars, I think, because they could mess with tire pressures. So, there's, with a fixed setup, you guys are all running the same thing, So what do you guys think about the setups that you're running from iRacing, or, Do you
I,
like it? I mean, you're putting a good show on with them,
I honestly couldn't say too much about it. I'm not somebody that runs with open setups or many other setups. I am still figuring this car out. I've mentioned it, last few weeks that I'm still just trying to figure out the
pretty
tires.
figured out.
I still haven't figured the tires out for long runs. I'm wearing them off too much, and throughout the race, and like each track's a little different. Here it was like averaging 105 to 107 track temp, and we were ripping the corners off the right rear tires. Give it just fractions of input in the gas, and the cars, it leans on that right rear, so that's why it was on that side of the car. But honestly, the setup itself is really comfortable to drive with. Sometimes the track temperature plays more of an effect than I feel like personally than the car setups do. So that's
because you get the same setup anyway. So, they're probably built in a range to run a certain track temperature, and when that
probably a more
changes, you have
comfortable
to
temp,
adjust.
and then we get into it, and it's like super loose.
Yeah, 10-4, man. You guys put on a great show. Great job, Sean.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
man, good finish. Glad to see you out there. And last
Yeah.
but not least, Tony Brewer, 3 in a row. Third
The
week,
Brew Crew.
third week in victory lane. I mean, I'm not sure how many laps you led out there, but I think you led, most of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, man, I had a freaking rocket ship. Like, I usually struggle here. Like, I've never been real great here. But tonight, man, my car was just, it was awesome. I could go wherever I wanted to, and it was happy.
Yeah, man, you got settled in pretty quick.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a great race. I was having a blast because my car was so good. I was just flying.
Well, it was.
Yeah, so you and Sean and the rest of them, there was Matt and a couple other guys that got track position, stayed out on that caution before the last one where Matt pitted, and you guys pitted, and I was like, man, I don't know, I think Matt's in trouble here, but then when it reversed, I was like, well, how far back is he going to be? It didn't look like you were worried. You probably could have not pitted on either one of those. You did have a rocket ship.
Well, I was worried, like especially that second to last caution when Matt pitted. I was like, man, he's gonna come flying up through here. There ain't gonna be nothing I can do. But I'm telling you, man, my car was so great. Like it's probably the best race car I've ever drove on here. Like it was a rocket, man.
We could definitely tell.
Yeah, it was great,
Yeah.
man. I was having a blast because like it would do whatever I wanted it to do.
That's awesome. That's
And
the kind of car I want.
I've never really had one that'll do that.
Well, can you set one up for me, because I could certainly use
Well,
all the help I can
and
get.
pit stops. You guys had multiple green flag pit stops, which are not easy, especially under pressure with all these other pros. I mean, you guys nailed it. And
Yeah.
especially you, Tony, man, you were on it, dude.
Yeah, like I didn't know what was going on when that caution came out. We was on pit road. I was just trying to race off pit road, and then I thought I wrecked Sean because he like ran up right behind me. But luckily, I guess the caution made our cars invisible or whatever, and then after we got all that sorted out, I was like, well, I'll keep going and see what I can do here. But that when Matt pitted and I stayed out, I was like, man, it's probably over for me. But it hung in there, man. Like, it was great.
Well, I know you guys, with all the talent you have, and you guys run in other leagues, other series, man. Maybe you might could recruit some guys. Tell them, hey, let's run some Monday night. I'm sure guys have commitments, but like to see the fields keep getting bigger and the broadcasts getting bigger. Let's see what we can do with this, man. You know?
Well, I'll spread the word best I can.
Yeah, no
Right
doubt.
on,
We
brother.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Always looking for more drivers and more viewers for the broadcast too. So if you're out there, be sure to like and subscribe, share it, multiple platforms, whatever you want to do, just to help us get our name out there. As far as next week, I think we discussed it earlier. We're going to be at Richmond Raceway, so that'll be a fun track to see these guys run at. So if you're out there, don't have anything going on, come race with us. If you don't have iRacing, we'll watch the race, and you're in for I guarantee you'll be in for a good show.
It's going to be a really good shoe.
No doubt.
Well, thanks for broadcasting, guys. Man, that was a great race.
Wow.
Great race, Watkins and Bondi. That was good.
Well, it's good seeing you guys. You guys make
great
the
race.
show.
Yeah, thanks. Had a blast there. And officially, he led 38 of those laps.
Okay, so just a little over half, huh?
Yeah.
Right on. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us here. We're Racing Broadcast. Again, thank you, viewers. Thank you, drivers. Hope to see you guys again next week. Good night.